Welcome to Crossfire, the show that dives into the heart of global conflicts, where nations collide, alliances shift, and lives hang in the balance. On tonight's show, we tell you how Donald Trump's leaked alleged Ukraine peace plan could end the war. But the question is, will it end the war or sell out Ukraine's future? Also on the show, we take you to Goma, where a horrifying incident has taken place. But how did the world let this happen? Stay tuned as we break down these crucial developments and explore their impact on the future of global power and security. Donald Trump's allegedly leaked peace plan for Ukraine is shaking up global politics. Ceasefires, NATO bans, and some serious concessions to Russia. If true, this could flip the war upside down. Bold move or political stunt? Let's break it down in this story.
An allegedly leaked peace plan proposed by US President Donald Trump for Ukraine is stirring a controversy on the international stage. If true, it would dramatically reshape the war in Ukraine and its future relationship with Russia and NATO allies. Let's break down what the president's peace plan reportedly includes. First and foremost, a complete ceasefire would come into effect by April. And that's just the beginning. Ukraine would also face some difficult demands. One of the most controversial proposals, Ukraine would be barred from joining the NATO. This move, many see as an appeasement to Russia, but also would put an end to Kyiv's aspirations of aligning with the Western military alliance. In exchange for a ceasefire, Ukraine would also have to accept Russia's sovereignty over the territories Moscow has annexed, including Crimea and parts of eastern Ukraine. In another key stipulation, Ukrainian troops would be required to withdraw from Russia's Kursk region, an area of vital strategic interest. Meanwhile, an international demilitarized zone would be established, potentially patrolled by European forces, possibly including British troops, but notably excluding American personnel. It is not just military considerations. The European Union would step in to help Ukraine rebuild, though the bill could run as high as $486 billion over the next decade. In return, America would continue to support Ukraine's military and Ukraine's ambition to join the European Union by 2030. But there is more. If this peace plan were to go forward, sanctions on Russia's energy sector would be lifted gradually over the next few years. The easing of sanctions would include special duties on Russian energy, directly funding Ukraine's reconstruction efforts, and a move some may view as a troubling concession to Russia. If things proceed as planned, by 20th April a formal ceasefire would be declared. By May 9, both sides would announce agreed upon parameters for an official end to the war. While the diplomatic discussions heat up, the situation on the ground remains volatile. Ukrainian forces reportedly struck a Russian airfield used to launch Shahed drones from southern Russia. In retaliation, Russia fired 77 drones and ballistic missiles overnight in an ongoing effort to disrupt Ukraine's military capabilities. And while Ukraine is battling Russia on the front lines, it has received significant support from the Western allies. France has already delivered the first batch of Mirage fighter jets to Ukraine, bolstering the country's air defense capabilities. So what's next for the people of Ukraine and the ongoing war? Will Trump's peace plan become a reality, or is it just a fleeting piece of political theatre? As international leaders gather in Munich next week, all eyes will be on what comes next and whether the prospect of peace is truly within reach. Bureau Report, India Today Global.
A nightmare in Goma. Women trapped, raped, and burned alive in a prison overrun by rebels. Now, this isn't just a tragedy, it's a war crime. The world watches, but the question is, will it act?
Disturbing, devastating, unimaginable. What happened last week in Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo, is beyond comprehension. A mass jailbreak, orchestrated by fighters from the Rwanda-backed M23 rebel group, led to the horrifying rape and brutal murder of more than 100 women. This all trapped inside Munzenze prison. In a report that has sent shockwaves through the international community, the United Nations confirmed that between 165 and 167 women were sexually assaulted by male prisoners before being burned alive. The violence unfolded on Monday as chaos engulfed the city of Goma when the M23 rebels attacked. In the wake of their assault, Munzenze prison became the site of unspeakable horrors. 4,000 prisoners, including hundreds of women, escaped, but many never made it out alive. This wasn't just an isolated incident. It was part of a larger pattern of sexual violence weaponized in the ongoing conflict. The United Nations Office for the High Commissioner on Human Rights has warned that sexual violence is increasingly being used as a tool of war in the region, perpetrated not only by rebel groups but also by government forces. Reports from South Kivu reveal that Congolese soldiers are responsible for the rape of at least 52 women, with disturbing allegations of gang rape. These are not isolated stories. This is systemic violence. Over 2,900 lives were claimed in the recent fighting in Goma alone. Thousands of women are suffering and dying in what seems like an endless spiral of violence. But it doesn't end there. The violence is spilling beyond Goma's borders. The M23 rebels, emboldened by their success, have now turned their sights on other parts of eastern DRC. The pain is unbearable, but the global response so far has been underwhelming. We need more than words. We need action. The women who were trapped in Munzenze prison, their names, their stories must not be forgotten. The perpetrators must be held accountable. And the international community must ensure that this violence, this brutality is stopped before more innocent lives are lost. This is not just a tragedy. It is an urgent call for the world to act. How many more women must suffer before we recognize their humanity? How many more must be sacrificed in this war for resources, power, and control? Bureau Report, India Today Global.
Mess with the US or its allies and Donald Trump will make you pay. That's his message to the ICC after its war crime charges against Israel. But is this a power move or an attack on justice? Our next story decodes it for you.
Donald Trump is back in the White House and he's making it crystal clear. Nobody messes with the United States or its allies. His latest move, a full-blown crackdown on the International Criminal Court. Trump just signed an executive order slamming sanctions on the ICC for what he calls its unfair treatment of the US and Israel. But why now? What is at stake? And is this a diplomatic power move or just another controversy? Let's break it down. The ICC launched investigations into United States citizens and its allies, including Israel. But the real tipping point? Arrest warrants. The ICC issued warrants against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, accusing them of war crimes in Gaza following the October 2023 Hamas attack. Trump's response? A hard no. The United States does not recognize the ICC's authority, and neither does Israel. Trump calls these charges baseless, and his administration says the ICC is creating a shameful moral equivalence between Hamas terrorists and the Israeli government. Bottom line, the White House sees this as an attack on Israel's right to defend itself. This isn't just tough talk. Trump's sanctions come with real consequences. Here's what they include: financial and visa restrictions. Any ICC official or staffer who plays a role in these investigations will face penalties. Asset freezes and travel bans, not just for ICC officials but also for their family members. Targeting those who help the ICC. If you assist the court in going after US citizens or allies, you are on the list. In short, Trump is making it clear: mess with the United States or Israel and you will pay the price. Trump's argument: this is about sovereignty. The ICC was established in 2002 to prosecute war crimes and crimes against humanity, but the United States and Israel never signed on. The court is supposed to go after nations that can't or won't hold their own people accountable. But Trump says the ICC is overstepping, trying to persecute countries that never agreed to be under his jurisdiction. This move will definitely ruffle feathers. Some international bodies will see Trump's actions as an attack on global justice. Critics argue the ICC is trying to hold powerful nations accountable, and now Trump is using sanctions to shut it down. But on the flip side, Trump's supporters say this is exactly why they wanted him back: putting America first, protecting allies, and refusing to let an international court dictate United States foreign policy. So what happens next? The ICC isn't backing down and Trump isn't budging. Expect global reactions, diplomatic tensions, and possibly even legal battles. But one thing is for sure: Trump just made it clear that under his leadership, the US calls the shots, not the ICC. Bureau Report, India Today Global.
Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of Crossfire. Stay tuned to India Today Global, where we simplified geopolitics for you.